Welcome back to No Sleep for Dramas, and today we're going to talk about a classic crime C-drama franchise. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Medical Examiner Dr. Chin. If you guys have no idea what this franchise is about, stick around, grab some coffee, and I will tell you all about it. Also, if you're looking for a review, I did a guest spot on the Tea and Soju podcast for season 1 of this franchise, so go check that out as well on Liliana's podcast. Reason why I wanted to do this, though, is I am an avid crime drama watcher, dark drama watcher, and this is a classic crime drama C-drama series, so I wanted to give you some guidance into this series so you're not overwhelmed, because just like other beloved series, The Lost Tomb, Candle in the Tomb, there's a lot that has happened with this franchise, and there's a lot of dramas to choose from. So sit back, grab some coffee. If you are a fan of crime dramas, if you are a fan of bromance, I would highly recommend checking this out. We will be guiding you into this series, introducing you to characters, letting you know what dramas and movies are in the franchise. If you are new here, I am an avid crime drama watcher. My background is in criminal justice, and I just have always loved watching crime dramas. So, needless to say, I talk about crime dramas a lot. So, stick around, subscribe, follow if you are into that same genre, and we can talk about dramas that we love. Needless to say, I also am an avid watcher of Forensics Examiner corridor dramas. Medical Examiner Dr. Chin was right up my alley. Little history about me and this franchise before I introduce you to the franchise. I had only seen season 1, and season 1 is about 10 years old. It came out in 2016, and it's Medical Examiner Dr. Chin. That's what it's called. And I had just only seen that. Everything else in this franchise was not accessible in the United States until much later. So the only thing I had access to was this first season. And it is now deemed really a classic crime C-drama. If you are into crime C-dramas, you probably have at least watched season 1 of this franchise. I think I watched it, I know I didn't watch it when it was airing, but I think I watched it in 2017, 2018 for the first time. And the reason why I clicked play on it was because, as I said, I love Forensic Examiner dramas. Or even shows. When I was still watching American shows, I was watching Forensic Examiner shows all the time, like CSI, for example. Since that first watch, I've actually rewatched this drama at least once, maybe twice at this point. At least once, because obviously I just said I was on Tea and Soju podcast to review this exact season 1. And season 1 also introduced me to the 3 actors that are now fairly well known now, 10 years later. I don't know how they were 10 years ago when this was made, but they're fairly well known now. Season 1 stars Zhang Ro-yoon, who is Medical Examiner Dr. Jin, and you would definitely know him from the Joy of Life series. Also stars Zhao Jun-yan, who you might know from Detective D or Noble Aspirations. Recently, I was a Abyss Dweller from last year. Was that last year? Yeah, last year. Abyss Dweller. I think she had a support role. And then last but not least, the titular cop is played by Li Xian, who you know from In the Name of Blossom, Flourish Peony, obviously season 1 of that show. What else? Will Love and Spring, one of my favorite actors personally. Those are the 3 actors in season 1, and season 1 of Medical Examiner Dr. Chin was the drama that introduced me to them, all 3 of them. The reason why I decided to do this guide is I have done periodic guides on the blog for No Sleep for Dramas for series like this, like Lost Tomb, Candle in the Tomb, where it is a bunch of dramas made by different networks under the same franchise. Just like Lost Tomb and Candle in the Tomb, Medical Examiner Dr. Chin, because it was so popular, the book series, and season 1, all the different networks have made a drama under the franchise name. So sometimes it's a little difficult to understand maybe the order that you might want to watch it, or even who is making what and where to find them, which is why I decided to make this guide. Plus, as I said, this is a classic C-drama franchise, and so you might be one of those people who want to watch all the classic C-dramas. So I spent most of 2025 and a little bit of 2026, maybe like the second half of 2025, watching all of the other dramas and movies in this franchise that I had not watched, that I had access to in the United States, in order to give you my full opinion of the franchise and write up this guide for you. Now, I will say, all of the facts I'm about to say in this guide, I have found on the internet. And I tried to only put facts in this guide that I have seen at least once or twice, more like twice. So I'm not just spewing stuff that might be wrong. I was trying to find facts that other people could corroborate with different things, or as just a well-known topic. I might have missed something. I might have said something wrong, but I'm only one person. I'm only researching on Google. If I do miss something or if I do say something wrong, please correct me in the comments, however you want to do that. I'm basically claiming I'm not the expert of this franchise or the history of this franchise or even the dramas in this franchise. If you guys know more than me, if you have access to resources that I do not, please correct me if I'm wrong. That's all I'm saying. I tried my best in terms of researching and trying to give you the facts that I can find. I could be wrong though. Just saying. But I tried to include stuff that I could find on multiple sources, so I'm not just giving you random facts I found once or I saw once in a social media post or something. Like most other C-dramas, Medical Examiner Dr. Chin is based off of a series of novels. I have not read the novels. I think they are accessible abroad beyond China. I don't know if all of them are, but I think at least the first 2 or 3 books are. They're written by the author Qin Ming, who is a forensic doctor himself, and he has conducted many autopsies and investigations in China through various agencies, organizations. He wrote these books with the experience of being a forensic examiner himself. Apparently, how this all happened is he decided to join Weibo to answer people's questions. I don't know if you guys are on YouTube, but there's a series on YouTube that I love, and I can't remember who puts it on, but it's basically they bring on experts like forensics examiners, funeral directors, teachers, like any profession you could possibly think of, astronauts, and they will give them the topmost Google questions about that profession, and this professional will answer on the video. Qin Ming, that's what he was doing. He found questions about being a forensics examiner on Weibo, and he would answer them. And eventually, that caused him to decide he wanted to write books, both educational and novels. So that is kind of how the whole Medical Examiner Dr. Chin book novels came about. He started writing stories from his own experience, like short stories on whatever platform they can use in China to do that, and then he transitioned into novels. He has also not only written these novels, but also a series of other novels and other books. So he's a very well-known author to the point that they actually bring him on shows for his forensics examiner expertise. And these novels, just like Lost Tomb, just like Candle in the Tomb, are extremely popular in China. Very, very popular. So eventually, they were made into dramas. As I said, like The Lost Tomb and Candle in the Tomb, there are many novels in this franchise. I think there's like 8, minimum of 8, maybe more. And so every network has kind of made a drama or of a movie, adapting some books multiple times, just like Lost Tomb and Candle in the Tomb. You'll see from my list that there's at least 10 different dramas and movies in this franchise. I have not watched all of them. We do not have access to all of them in the United States. They're all tied to these novels. It is no surprise these novels are being adapted. They are very popular. And they still are popular, even if they were written 10 years ago. The networks have tried to adapt almost all of the novels. If not, they have adapted all the novels. There's a couple dramas that have been made but never released. So can we say the book is adapted or not? I'm not really sure. But they're very popular. They attempt to try and adapt these novels every couple of years, trying to keep the franchise alive, trying to get the interest. And the dramas pretty much do fairly well in China. I don't think they have done the success as season 1 did, which I'll go into that in a little bit, but they don't do badly. None of the dramas have done badly. I don't know about the movies really that much, but None of the dramas have done badly when it comes to ratings and people watching them. I will say though, season 1, I think, and this may just be my opinion, but I think season 1 is by far the most popular and the most well-known of the franchise. But there is a reason why China keeps adapting these novels. They are very popular, and season 1 is a classic for a reason. So some fun facts about season 1. If you listen to my episode review of season 1 of Dr. Chin with Liliana and Teen Soju, you will have heard these facts already because I pulled them from the same article that she used. Season 1 adapted book 3 and book 4 of this novel series, The 11th Finger and Scavenger, back in 2016. It was viewed 1.2 billion times on Sohu TV alone, which the popularity of that thus spawned multiple spin-offs and multiple sequels. That's why they have kept making this series. The drama basically went viral when it premiered. It also pioneered the forensics examiner genre, forensics procedural genre in China. You didn't really see the modern take of the forensic procedural genre done this way before. You definitely had seen historical coroner dramas before, but what was unique about season 1 is they went into the technology, they went into the techniques, they showed autopsies. They were very technical when it came to the investigations in these cases. And not that it's like over gory or anything like that, in my opinion. You definitely have seen more gory stuff now, 10 years later. But it was the first time that they really concentrated on the forensics examiner profession and highlighted that profession in the way. Before, it was cops running around and investigating, and maybe the medical examiner was like a line in a dialogue saying, the medical examiner found this, and it might not have even been a character in the drama. This really kind of pioneered what you could do having a medical examiner forward drama, and the fact that it was very well received showed that there was an interest out there for it. So we have gotten other medical examiner centered dramas since then. Also, fun fact, I think this was made 6 or 7 years ago, but 2 of the 3 leads, Zhao Ruyang and Zhao Junyun, actually made another drama together called Perfect Evidence. It has yet to air, but it just got it licensed and everything to air like last week. So hopefully we'll see that. Also, FYI, if you want links to everything I'm talking about today or read along with what I'm talking about, I do have a blog post of this guide. So if you want to follow along, please go over to the blog. And if you're on the Patreon, you will get this blog post early as well. All right, so let's move into the synopsis of the Medical Examiner Dr. Chin franchise. It's pretty straightforward. It's a medical procedural crime drama. It centers around 3 trio characters who make up this investigation team, and they use investigative science, forensic examiner techniques, DNA testing, basically CSI stuff if you have ever seen the CSI show, and combined with police work like you would normally see in another Chinese crime drama with boots on the ground. They're going house to house investigating stuff. They combine both of those aspects into this drama with a bigger emphasis on the science part of what it is to be a crime-solving drama. In my opinion, and then also I think a lot of people agree, season 1 is believed to be the best in terms of chemistry between the trio, especially even the bromance of it all. But there's other dramas out there that have some good chemistry as well, but season 1 is very well known for the chemistry. So since the franchise is very popular, different networks have adapted the novels to movies, dramas, with different stories, different casts, to varying levels of success. But the main 3 characters you probably need to know, and granted, sometimes these characters might not show up in other drama adaptations, might have different names, might be a different gender. There's still a core group of people that kind of follow you along in this franchise, just like the Iron Triangle in The Lost Tomb. So you have Shinming, who is the medical examiner. He is basically in every drama. He's eccentric, he's kind of aloof, but also maybe standoffish. He's very smart, very technical. He's the forensics chief that the whole entire franchise centers around. Then we have Ling Tao. He is the police officer that is kind of the partner of Shinming. He goes about, does the field work, field investigation, helping him out in the field. He has grown in the franchise to be Qingming's trusted friend, trusted ally, but they have grown to that relationship, and they have a very great bromance, in my opinion. And then in season 1, there is a third character called Li Dabao. She is the assistant medical examiner. She comes in and helps Qingming out. She is known in season 1 to have an exceptional sense of smell, and she's very unconventional herself, especially with how she dresses. She dresses more masculine than feminine, which I like a lot. Fun fact about that, in the book series, apparently, she is a man. Her character is a man, and they changed her gender for season 1. I did not know this. And then in other dramas and movies, you will see that she might have changed her name, professions, gender again, or she might not even be in the drama whatsoever, depending on the drama. But in season 1, the most famous and most classic, she is there as a assistant medical examiner and makes up the trio that is now the famous trio of season 1. The other sequels, other spin-offs of this franchise always try to have the crime-fighting trio. Sometimes there's only 2. Qinming is always there. Ling Tao is normally there. And then the third member of the trio changes. Sometimes they don't exist. Sometimes it's just a bromance. Sometimes it's a different character altogether where it's another cop or a different medical examiner under a different name. It just depends on the drama and the movie. But you will most likely always see Qingming and Ling Tao together, always. Qinming is always there. Ling Tao might have a different name, but he is always, or maybe even different gender, but there's always a cop that is partnering with Qingming, minimally, within this franchise. And then the trio might come in here and there, depending. But there's always that bromance or that relationship between medical examiner and a cop. I'm going to go into the dramas and movies of this franchise now. As I said, season 1 is very popular to the point where it was so popular it caused the same network to make a season 2 and season 3 right away. Granted, they did not use the same cast. It also, as I said, caused many other networks to use this franchise and to make their own dramas and movies from the popularity. You have seen many actors play Qingming, and you've seen many different screenwriters put their own spin on the story. The first one was made in 2016. They've made these since 2016 to 2023, I think, is the last one they made. They've spanned it over many, many years, just like The Lost Tomb and Candle in the Tomb. So that is why a lot of the time the cast is not the same. I'm going to list off all of the dramas and movies in the franchise. I'm going to read them, though, because I'm not going to remember all of the titles and everything, but I will also list them up here as well for all of you guys. I'm going to put them in the order that they were released. Some have been made but not released, so those will be at the end of the list. And then I will also let you know what ones are available in the US, the ones that I have seen. In my opinion, you do not have to watch them in order, but I would advise to watch season 1 before you watch anything else, because I think it's a good introduction to the characters, who the characters are, getting a sense of how the characters should interact. And plus, in my opinion, it's the best. It's the best in the franchise. So why not start off with the best? So I found this release order on the internet, and I also kind of made it myself. If I missed something, please let me know. But this is what I found. First one we have is Medical Examiner Dr. Chin. This is a 2016 C-drama. It is season 1. It is by far the most famous, in my opinion. It's the classic. You can watch it on Viki here in the United States. Season 2 is the one that immediately was spawned from season 1 due to the popularity. That is Medical Examiner Dr. Chin 2, The Scavenger. It is not available in the US, but it was made right after. And then season 3, Medical Examiner The Survivor, can be watched on YouTube. I found it on YouTube. That's in the US. Then we had a movie, which I was not able to watch, called Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Zi Che Wei Yu Hun. It did not have an English translation. Apparently, this is adaptation of one of the books in season 1. So what happened a lot is the dramas would adapt certain books, and then they would make a movie of that same book. So you'll have a lot of times, some of the dramas have adapted the same book over and over again. You'll have movies that have adapted the same book, kind of the same way as The Lost Tomb and Candle in the Tomb. There's only so much source material you can adapt. Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Zi Che Wei Yu Hyun was a movie adapted from, I think, the third book. That came out after season 3. Then you have Whispers of Silent Body. You can watch that on YouTube here in the United States. Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Fatal Novel is a movie. Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Death Redemption. And Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Blood Red Wedding. Those are 3 movies. Think of them as made-for-TV movies here in the United States. You can watch all of them in various quality on YouTube as well. Those all came out in the same year within the same month of each other. I think it was 2018, 2019. Then you have Medical Examiner Dr. Chin's Silent Evidence, which is a drama. You can watch that on YouTube in the United States. I think that was a 2021 drama, if I'm not mistaken. Medical Examiner Dr. Chin, The Mind Reader, can be watched on Viki, and that was a 2022 drama. And then last but not least, the last thing that has been released from my research is Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Concerto in the Rain. This is a movie. It is not available to watch in the United States that I can find, but that's out there. And then there are 2 dramas that have been made but have not been released for reasons unknown. I'm really not sure. And I honestly don't know if they actually have been made, but according to MDL, the cast is there. My assumption is they have been made. They just have never been released. Unless there was like that cast is rumored and they just have never confirmed that, or maybe it's on the back burner and never made it. I don't know. But I'm going off of MDL entries. We have Medical Examiner Dr. Chin Corpse Whisperer. This is a drama that just has never been released. It does have a cast, though, on MDL. And then the last one is a Chinese title one. I'm sorry if I butcher this name. Fa Yi King Ming Zi Wano. Again, a drama that has an MDL page. It has some cast. I'm really not sure if it was actually made or not, but that apparently is coming up. So that is everything that is in the franchise, either that has already been released or possibly is being made and released or is already made. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, later on, we're going to do a ranking and I'm going to talk about my reviews of all of these, but let's get into why I love this series, and I'll give you 3 reasons. One is the main trio of season 1, but of the other dramas and movies that I have watched, the bromance if you have only 2, the trio if you have 3, and other dramas and movies. I'm going back to season 1 though because it is by far my favorite, but also the most well-known. It is known for this trio, just like I said with Lost Tunes series and the Iron Triangle. It does not have a nickname, as far as I know, but the team and the trio and the bromance you get from these characters is everything. It was a highlight of season 1 and has continued to be a highlight in the various dramas and movies that I have watched beyond season 1. But there is something very special about that first trio matchup. Dr. Chin is not the most pleasant person to work with, whether it's a prequel or a present-day version. So the fact that the other 2 characters could put up with him and work with him and kind of work with his quirks shows how much their relationship grew through the series and how much they actually ended up liking the guy and becoming friends with him. And that caused Dr. Chin to open up and be more friendly with the people that he trusted. And that also speaks to the trio's chemistry and friendship shown in the drama itself. If the drama does not have the trio and it's just Lin Tao and Dr. Chin, you still get a really good bromance, in my opinion. That relationship, no matter the drama and franchise, is solid and is very nice to watch in most adaptions. When they try to throw in romance, in my opinion, it doesn't really work, ever. Some people might like it more than me, but I just don't think it really worked either way. Season 1 is a little cheesy and a little campy, but I think that's part of showing its age more than anything, but it's still good, in my opinion. So that's the first thing I love about the franchise. Second is the forensic science. It's not technical enough where the audience does not understand what's going on, but if you are into forensic science and you like being a little nerdy around techniques and things used to investigate crime, this would be the drama for you. They go into maybe like the chemicals that are used to test something out, or the process of extracting something from a body, or figuring out the type of dirt that's in somebody's soul to figure out where they were in the past 24 hours. They go into that type of stuff. Now, for me, I was an avid watcher of CSI, so I am all over this. I have Forensics Examiner books in my bookshelf in my room. I love forensic science, so this is definitely a C-drama right up my alley. In another life, I probably would be a forensics examiner, in my opinion. But I just love how they portrayed forensic scientists in a digestible manner where it's not boring. You get insight into the techniques, you get insight into how it's helping the investigation, but it's not so technical where you don't understand anything at all, like anything that's going on. And you can tell that the show, the drama, and the franchise in general has put a lot of effort into making that a center focal point of the drama series. They want to show you the forensic examiner job. They want to show you that career and what they do to contribute to solving cases. That's also not the only thing that is in the drama. Yes, you get forensic science and you get the technical parts, but you also still get some butt whooping and arrests and creepy bad guys and things like that. It's a good balance of the two, fully knowing that forensic science is a focal point and a very important part of this series in general. And then lastly, I said at the beginning, it spawned a genre. It was the first of its kind, especially when it came to the modern medical examiner shows, and thus that genre was made, and we've gotten other Chinese crime dramas focused around medical examiners, such as The Listener and Talking Bones. I personally have watched The Listener. I thought it was very well done. The historical medical examiner coroner drama has been around for a while before this was made, but it sparked an interest in the modern version of that, especially one that concentrated heavily on the medical examiner career and gave the common man an insight in that career, which you might not have seen before that. So hopefully this guide has given you a little introduction into the medical examiner Dr. Chin series. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you maybe check out season 1. Maybe let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions about this franchise or these characters in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this guide.